First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, really appreciate everybody joining me here on this show. There we go. Great intro already. But that's because I'm excited right now because we are talking about, yes, the international phenomenon known as Fat Bear Week. Fat Bear Week starting in the Katmai National Park. Voting begins soon, and we're going to discuss everything about it, the history of it, how you can vote, what goes on with it, and that is because I have Felicia Jimenez joining me right now from Katmai, the media ranger for Katmai National Park. Felicia, thank you very much for joining us here. As you can tell, I love Fat Bear Week. Everybody loves Fat Bear Week. But what I would like to know, just to start off, is could you tell us some of the history of this? How did this all start? Where did it all begin?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Fat Bear Week is a celebration of success and survival. It's a way to celebrate the resilience, adaptability, and strength of Katmai National Park and preserves brown bears. And it's grown quite a bit since its inception. This is the 9th year of Fat Bear Week. It originally was just one day called Fat Bear Tuesday. It was a tournament-style bracket where we pit the bears against each other in head-to-head matches, but it was only one day of voting on Katmai National Park and Preserve's Facebook page. Since then, though, it has grown as big as our bears are, and it has expanded to a full week of voting and even a cub competition, Fat Bear Junior.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's two votes now going on, all from this, starting off with this idea of just voting on the bears and as they're on the river eating salmon. So I guess let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the bears are actually doing there.
Yeah, the bears are blissfully unaware that they're the stars in this competition. It is fall in Katmai National Park, and right now, if we look at, the salmon run is what really supports these bears. We're lucky to be home to one of the last great sockeye salmon runs left on the planet. So this time of year, the sockeye salmon have started to reach the end of their life cycle, and they're dying, and their carcasses wash up in the lower part of Brooks River, and the bears are there picking off the dead and dying salmon and feasting, really getting that really last good meal in before they go into the den for hibernation.
And so that's what they're doing, is they're just eating everything that's going on here. I've got some past footage here of the national park, just kind of showing the bears coming down. And it's crazy to see how many there are. Like, how many bears total show up at this one specific spot?
It varies, year to year. Katmai National Park is a huge park. There are over 4 million acres in Katmai, and there are probably over 2,000 bears spread across that area. But Brooks River, which is kind of the focus of Fat Bear Week, it's a concentrated area because there's a natural waterfall, like a barrier for salmon. So this is where bears will congregate to feed on the salmon. And, last year, I think there was an average about 80 bears counted in the season in this one particular area. And it's only about a square mile of space. So that's a lot.
That is a lot of bears in one specific spot. Does that happen very often when you have a salmon run like this? Is this common in other, say, national parks or places with salmon runs?
That's the pretty unique thing about Katmai. I can't really speak about other parks, but we see like bears concentrate in this 1 mile square area, mainly because of Brooks Falls, which is that natural barrier that salmon have to jump over to get to Brooks Lake in their migration journey. So bears congregate with the salmon run. So they peak in July, and then in August, as the fish kind of spread out throughout the watershed, so do the bears, and then they come back and congregate in September like they're doing right now.
When you mentioned Katmai is 4 million square acres, I think is what you said, which is huge. So for people that don't know, they may tune in to see Fat Bear Week, but may not be completely aware of everything with Katmai National Park up in Alaska. Can you talk about, where it is and how isolated it is and what it's like there?
Yeah. Katmai is one of the most remote national parks in the National Park Service. Um, it is about 200 miles southwest of Anchorage, and you can only access it by float plane or boat. There are no roads to this place. So it's very, very remote. It is a massive park, encompasses over 4 million acres. And those 4 million acres encompass a very big part of the Bristol Bay watershed, which supports that healthy sockeye salmon run, which is supporting these beautiful giant brown bears.
So what is it like working there? Like for you being, isolated like that at the national park, you've got all this wildlife around, you've got these huge brown bears around. What is it like for you on like a daily basis working at the national park?
It's amazing. Every day is an adventure. I am fortunate to, to be one of the people that live in this remote, gorgeous national park. It is remote. You have to fly your groceries in, and it's difficult to come and go. But there is so much, and this park is huge. There's so much to explore. It is an adventure. It is. I love this park so much.
I mean, I got to say, your internet service is pretty remarkable for how isolated isolated you are. We've had people in cities with with worse streams than that. So let's talk about Bear Week itself because I've got this pulled up here. I wanted to kind of walk through this. Have you walk us through this, what we're looking at. So you've got, you mentioned a couple of votes because you got the junior vote that already happened. But right now, I'm pulling this up. So this is the vote that's today is Tuesday for anybody watching, Tuesday the 3rd. Wednesday, October 4th, this goes live. Tell me about what we're looking at right here.
Yes. So to participate in Fat Bear Week, you're going to go to fatbearweek.org, which we have pulled up on the screen here. There will be two matchups tomorrow. So you're looking at Bear 402 versus Bear 901. These are the two moms in the competition. So we're going to have a battle of the multitasking moms to open it up. And then the next battle is going to be against Bear 806 Junior. And let's see, Bear 806 Junior and Bear 428. These are our two younger competitors. Bear 806 Junior, the Spring Cub, is the current winner of Fat Bear Junior. So he has fought his way to earn his spot into the Big Bear bracket.
So what are the numbers? How are they significant? How does that happen?
So that's the bear's identification.
Okay.
Katmai doesn't name the bears anymore. There are some bears that do have names as part of the old naming system, but now all bears are assigned a number. So these are their identifications.
So there's some legacy bears that have the names like Otis and some of the other ones, but the newer ones, it'll just be the number. Okay.
Yeah. We've grandfathered in the older names.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. So how do you determine, you said there could be up to like 80 bears that are showing up here. How do you determine which ones get to be a part of the competition?
That's part of the fun, actually. So when we're picking out the bracket each year, we try to encompass a wide variety of bears, right? So we get not just the giant males, but we also, get males and females. We get all ages. We get a cub in there, a subadult bear. And then we also look at the bears' stories that we've seen develop throughout, the years that we've been watching them throughout the season. Because, we draw people in with these big bears, but we really want to showcase this as an interpretive, moment. So what bears have really good stories? And then of course, which bears have, the fat to participate in Fat Bear Week.
And it's, and so you've got, here, I'll go ahead and pull this back up too. So you got the competition here. This is the bracket for everybody if you want to download this. Again, it was Fat Bear Week. And so it looks like you've got, quite a few bears here competing. 12 bears that are going to be competing for this week's or this competition. And so it's two that start on Wednesday, and then two pairs will be voted on Thursday. And this continues on for how long?
It's going to continue for a week. So we're going to wrap up on October 10th, which is Fat Bear Tuesday. That's going to be the final round.
So what happens, when do the bears typically, head into hibernation after this?
They typically start in late fall. It depends. Females might go into the den, a little earlier. Females with cubs, especially. The males might stay out a little longer to forage. But yeah, typically like late fall, even like late October into November is when they start going into their dens.
And you have these live cameras that are out there too, that are part of this, that
Mhm.
people can tune into. You can join in. This is just some older footage that I've got here. But one thing that I know, there was a story recently of a couple who were lost in Katmai, and you saw some of them on the cameras. Is that right?
So around 4 o'clock on September 5th, there was a hiker seen asking for help on a live web camera on Dumpling Mountain in Katmai National Park. That's another location that we have some of the live cameras in. Park rangers were notified by concerned webcam viewers and Explore.org staff. Those are the park partners that maintain those cameras. The park sent a search and rescue team to find the hiker. He was caught in windy and rainy conditions. It was really poor visibility, but park rangers found the hiker a few hours later unharmed and brought the hiker back to safety.
That's pretty amazing. Because of these live streaming cameras, that you were able to do that. That's a pretty incredible story. Well, for everybody out there, we're enjoying Fat Bear Week. We're learning this. We're having fun with this. But what are some key things that people should be aware of if they do head out into territory with brown bears?
Katmai has quite a few safety rules. Every visitor that comes into the park immediately upon landing at Brooks Camp, they get a bear safety orientation. Make sure to, talk to a ranger. You're going to be bear aware. There are some very strict rules in place. That comes with exploring bear territory, but we have some strict rules in place to keep people safe.
Nice. Well, let me ask you this, and this may be something you can't answer. Do you have a favorite fat bear?
I think all rangers have their favorite.
Do you? Yeah. Do you all have your own competitions?
Oh yeah, we the rangers love Fat Bear Week as much as the public does. I think there's some really, really good contenders out this year. Bear 32 Chunk is one of the main contenders. I think he's one of the biggest bears on Brooks River. But it is a good year for the ladies this year, too. Bear 435 Holly and 128 Grazer are also looking really, really good this year.
So it's a tough competition, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Well, awesome. Anything else you think that people should know about it?
Yeah, I just want to circle back. Voting starts tomorrow. Voting takes place at fatbearweek.org. And just remember to vote daily for who advances in the bracket to determine that final winner on Fat Bear Tuesday. It's such a great, really fun competition. I love celebrating the bears, but also remember this special ecosystem that Katmai protects makes Fat Bear Week happen. Without a protected, healthy sockeye salmon run, there would be no fat bears.
So it all ties into this to make this happen. Mm-hmm. Important for everybody, everything all around that. Well, Felicia, thank you very much for joining us to talk about this. Really, really appreciate you taking some time out. I'm sure this is a busy week for you too, especially with all the media going on about it, but it's a lot of fun. It shines a good light on Katmai National Park and just everything you're doing up there, so appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody too for joining in. Again, I'm just gonna show you right there. You can vote here. You can place your bets on who you think is going to be the winner of Fat Bear Week as they go through all the voting. And again, this is Fox 12 Now too, so we're live streaming on all of our platforms. I'll be back here at 2 p.m. Pacific if you're watching live. I'll have the actor Siobhan Fallon Hogan on. Now, you, trust me, recognize her from a lot of different things. She is in so many different movies and shows, and she is going to be joining us here in just a little bit. That's her. So she's going to be here to talk about her career, being on Forrest Gump, being in Men in Black, being in Seinfeld, SNL, a million things, and her new movie, and that's what she's going to be discussing. So that's coming up here in just a little bit. So in the meantime, though, I'm going to log off. I will be back shortly. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.